I don't need it yet.
Right now you can't even walk out there, so.
We got a load up yesterday.
Oh yeah? Well, yesterday
We had one wagon load, and that's all we got, but, so we opened and started feeding the cows. Rich goes, God, this is the best hay we made all year. Yeah, it doesn't have rained on.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to St. Cloud yesterday and there was a lot of combines hitting beans on the high spots.
Yeah.
I didn't see where they turn around and go back uphill,
Yep.
so. But not so much today.
Next couple days, actually.
Oh, yeah. It's not a good week, so.
Ready? You ready?
Yep.
Record. We have a quorum. It is 7 o'clock, so I'll call a continuation of the October 15th meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first item of business is, I think we will review the applicants. And if there's no objection, we'll go alphabetical order. And that would be Jenna Benson would be first applicant. Jenna?
Mr. Chair, if could I, maybe I've got a list of questions here, and there's like 12 of them. And I was wondering if we could go through those first and maybe whittle it down to about 8 questions. Could we do that first?
Yep, and it is an open meeting, so any members of the public, including the applicants, are free to be in this meeting room. Generally in interviews though, the board might ask for applicants to maybe sit in the room next door, waiting their turn out of courtesy to the other applicants, but that's up to the board on how you want to run it.
So if you would wish to step out for a minute so we can go through the questions.
Who are the applicants that are here? Did I just see who's here?
I'm Taylor Brown.
Taylor Bratz.
Okay.
I'm Connie Hammond.
Okay.
Constance Hammond.
Okay.
I'm Jenna Benson.
Johnson, Mr. Jenna Benson, and
Doug Dahl. So we are missing Taylor Bratz. Okay.
I think Taylor actually, she was the first lady who spoke, wasn't she?
That was
was that Janelle or?
I didn't see Janelle do it. Or Janelle do it there? Well, you know.
Okay, we have a list of questions in front of us.
We just go through these and everybody go through each one of them, and then we'll go back and review which ones we want to eliminate.
I think 4 can be eliminated because they go through training anyway.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Ready for work? Well, if we want to whittle it down to 8, we'll leave
Yep.
it for 4 of them.
Sounds good.
Okay?
Here you go.
We'll scratch that.
Oh, wait, Sean.
Yeah, you have to lift up on this.
What time is? We're okay with 5?
Careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 off, or 5 on.
What do you think, Thomas?
Yeah, it takes, 7 also, I think 5, take 5 off, what about 7?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay,
How you doing?
Have you guys signed in up front there?
Oh,
Where? Yep, right up at the cover there.
Number 10, is that sound? Thank you.
I think we can take number 10 off.
Okay. And we'll take it down to 8, I believe. Does anybody wish to have any added? Specifically, I think I've seen what I'd like to ask still was in here.
Did you have one?
No, I didn't.
We have one at the very end too, a closing statement. If you see number 1 there, that's kind of on the second to last page. You okay with that one, number 1, on the last page? Yes.
Strike that.
We'll keep that one.
Keep that one? Okay.
Number 1 on the last page.
Okay.
Then we want to take turns asking the questions, or do you want one person to keep it standard?
We do one person, keep it standard.
It's a quick range.
I don't mind. No, that's fine.
Okay.
Work our way down. I'll start 1, 2.
Oh, we're gonna take turns? Okay.
Or is that how you want to do it?
Sure.
I just said Bill doing it all.
That's fine. Bill can do it, yep.
Okay.
Okay, Jenna?
Mr. Chair, one other minor suggestion might be to set a time so that you've got the same
Okay.
window for each applicant.
Okay. Do we want to set it for,
Well, I was thinking, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4,
8,
6, 7,
8 minutes.
questions, so
2 minutes
15,
apiece.
15 minutes?
Oh,
2 minutes per question.
then you got just a little bit of follow-up, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
that's a long time.
Yeah.
yeah. that's-
Okay,
Max per interview is 15 minutes?
Okay. Okay, I will, you want me to timekeep?
now we can.
Well, hold on, we'll get her. Mrs. Taylor,
No, Jenna.
Jenna, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. Then I'll just put a start countdown. Fair enough.
Can I'd just like to review her application real quick, please?
Keep your spot, Stephen. Hmm?
I reviewed it the other day. All right, well, thank you for applying.
Yes.
So we're gonna keep all these questions standard for everybody. Everybody's gonna get the same question. And we're gonna just stick to the questions, not a lot of follow-up questions, so be as thorough as you could.
Okay.
All right. What experience do you have in preparing agendas, supporting documents, and minutes for meetings?
I don't have a lot of experience in that, but I do, my job right now, I do keep daily activities and things organized. And I have a lot of things that I do daily that I make sure I keep track of daily.
Okay. Describe your expertise with word processing, spreadsheets, presentations, email, and other programs.
Okay, so I do a lot of stuff with different programs and stuff for organizing like different bills and such that come in to the bar that I work at. So I organize all of the different distributors in the different spreadsheets, and I do that pretty much weekly and organize it and make sure that things are where they need to be in the different spots. Emails I send out quite often with different, like I just redid a menu and I go back and forth with that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are you familiar with CTOS? It's the City Township Accounting System. And what's your accounting experience that you might have? And please list any accounting software you may have used in the past and to what extent.
I'm not familiar with any of that, but I am willing to learn any of it. I catch on quite quickly. Like I said, I do a lot of daily tasks with different distributors that I get and receive, so I try to, keep those things as organized as possible.
Describe how familiar you are with payroll processing, payroll, taxes, and reporting these electronically.
Okay, so I do handle a lot of the payroll I use QuickBooks. So I take all the hours of my employees and I put them into the program, and also have to pay the sales payroll tax also on top of that.
This job might require you set up new filing system. The system will allow quick and easy access to invoices and important documents. Give a brief description of how you would go about doing this.
I would have to see what you guys have currently, and able to try to problem solve and see what the issues are that maybe isn't working for you guys right now. So then we can try to find a better system to make sure that we can get things organized, to find them at a better.
This position requires attention to detail. Give an example of why this might be important.
That is probably one of my stronger suits. I really pay attention to all, so I have 23 employees under me currently, so I really have to keep everything organized and pay extra close attention to make sure everything is organized, and that's probably my biggest thing that I make sure that I always have taken care of, and it just goes a lot smoother when things are organized.
How much customer service experience have you had? Sometimes you may have someone who's not happy or may be upset and comes into the township hall for copies or to drop off papers for the planning committee. Will you still be able to help them? Give us an example of helping someone who is upset, and how would you diffuse the situation?
So I've dealt with that. I've been in the customer service industry. Well, I'm currently at my current job for 13 years, and before that I worked another 3 years at a different place. Tons of customer service. There's different ways to problem solve different situations. Making sure that people, are happy when they leave the door is my biggest thing, to try to make sure that we can take care of the issue that they might have right then and there, by whatever the situation might be, that I, make sure it's the best for them leaving the door.
If you notice something going on in Township Hall regarding township business that just doesn't seem right, what would you do and how would you handle it?
I'd probably go to you guys, I'm assuming, and say, be able to tell them that I'm seeing this happening and that maybe this isn't how it's really supposed to be. And I would assume I would learn as we go what goes and what doesn't go, as far as what's appropriate and not.
Oh, that's all we had for the questions tonight. Just a quick question, so if this job was offered to you, would you accept? And when is the soonest you could start?
I would feel comfortable giving my 2-week notice at my current job, so I could start as soon as the 2 weeks is up.
I'm afraid I want to interject then. If you're understanding this is a part-time position.
Correct.
So,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
So, because you left it open when you said that you'd be giving your 2 weeks notice.
Yep. What my current hours are, it would not work with the current hours of the operation here. So I would be then finding another probably part-time job as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anything else, did you guys?
Nope, and we've still got 7 minutes left, so.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
taking the time.
Yes, absolutely.
Does she hang around?
Yeah,
It's up to you.
Open meeting, you're welcome to stay.
That's a worthwhile discussion for the board. The board's decision, if you can make a decision tonight, folks are free to stay. I think, if they want to leave, no sense in requiring folks to stick around. I'd suggest the board designate an individual to contact all the applicants one way or another, tomorrow.
You're welcome to stick around.
But I need to go in that other room, correct? Do you want me to send the next one in?
Just give us a
Oh,
few
just a
minutes.
minute, okay.
Yeah. I didn't have one. I didn't have one electronically. This one coming up? Yeah.
Okay. Taylor is not here, right?
No, I believe Taylor is here.
I believe she is.
Dennis and Andrew Lewis, I
I got it messed up too.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Taylor?
Sure. Did everybody get one of these, a new one? There you go. We're just writing some things down here. I'll be right with you.
So we are gonna allot 15 minutes per candidate is what we're allotting, so just be aware of.
Okay.
Just want to make that all known before, so as we go along and then it beeps at you, so.
Okay.
So we're doing a structured interview, so all these questions are the same questions that we've asked each applicant, and we're just gonna stick to these, and there probably won't be, well, there won't, not gonna be any follow-up questions to ask for any clarifying statements or anything like that. So with that, we'll begin. We've got 8 questions, and then some of them are multi-phase questions. So,
Okay.
first question. What experience do you have in preparing agendas, supporting documents, and minutes for meetings?
I've never done minutes for meetings. My job now is administrative assistant in the health office. All I do is keep notes on every student that walks into my office. I help the nurse keep all the health records up to date, faxing back and forth to doctors and any teachers that need information on the students that we handle. My job before that, I was assistant to the media specialist in the same building that I am in, and I helped her organize the entire catalog of our media center, kept every records, all the books up to date, technology up to date, the amount of Chromebooks that we have one-to-one with the students. Everything went through me organizational-wise, had to be barcoded and documented and organized through me. So everything was, I'm on the computer typing nonstop, keeping things, records, labels done, so that's kind of my job.
Describe your expertise with word processing, spreadsheets, presentations, email, and other programs.
In my time, I have a criminal justice degree, and in that time I was certified Microsoft Office professional. As I said before, I do the majority of my work on a computer now, and in my previous job, I do Excel spreadsheets to catalog books and other media technology that we had in our school. My office, my school also works with Google. We're a big Google school. Everything is Google Classroom, Google Drive, which is basically the same as Microsoft Excel. The program, they kind of work exactly the same, but that is about 90% of my job right now is working with word processing, typing up reports, doing data mining for different teachers, and like my nurse that I work with as well.
Are you familiar with CTAS? It's a City Township Accounting System.
No.
What accounting experience do you have? Please list any accounting software you may have used in the past and to what extent.
Besides working with Excel and learning different things that you can put into the spreadsheet for it to spit out numbers and things for you when you type it into the cells, I haven't worked with any accounting systems before. Besides being a waitress at one point in my life, that's about the amount of work with money handling in that area. As a media specialist, we held 2 book fairs a year, and I was in charge of, keeping track of the amount of money that came in and out, and we had different cash register systems that were with that, but I don't handle the financing on my end at my job currently, so.
Describe how familiar you are with payroll processing, payroll taxes, and reporting these electronically.
I have no previous experience in payroll. We don't do any type of payroll reporting as a health office administrative assistant. I do reporting to the state when it comes to amount of sick children in my school and different symptoms that have hit too many numbers. I do numerous reports, but I've not done any payrolling.
This job might require you to set up new filing systems. This system will allow quick and easy access to invoices and important documents. Give a brief explanation of how you would go about doing this.
Well, in my current position, when I started last year, the nurse had been there, she'd been there for about 6 years, and everything is starting to move over technology-wise. Like, we keep hard copies, paper copies, but to be able to access it at any building, because there's 7 buildings in our district, I showed her how you can scan it, connect it to the kid's account, so you can pull it up no matter what school you're in. You log into our Skyward software program that we have in our district, and you can find that kid. Everything's attached in certain files that it needs to be. I also helped out a lot with my media specialist, just getting things more moved over into the computer wise with organizing, labeling, just easier access than having to dig through paper for everything.
This position requires attention to detail. Give an example of where and why this might be important.
Well, if you're dealing with any amount of money or in the human resources area, attention to detail is basically everything. You can't miss a zero, miss a dot when it comes to plugging in numbers.
How much customer service experience have you had? Sometimes you might have someone who's not happy or maybe upset who comes into the township hall for copies or to drop off papers for the planning committee. Will you still be able to help them? Give an example of helping someone who's angry. How can you diffuse the situation?
I would say, especially in my job now, on a daily basis, I'm speaking to random parents, doctors, anybody that I've never met face to face. Like customer service is basically what I do a lot of as well. Also consider as a waitress, and I work with Alzheimer's in the Alzheimer's unit as well before I started in the school district, and basically everybody was pretty upset on that floor. I just know that speaking calmly, trying to get all the facts and helping them out the best as possible, keeping your cool always goes a long way. Not raising your voice, not getting upset, just trying to start from point A to point B in the best way possible.
If you notice something going on at Township Hall regarding township business that just does not seem right, what would you do and how would you handle it?
Well, in my current position, my principal has always said if there's a problem, take it up, meaning go to him, find somebody who can handle the situation appropriately. If you don't know who that is, like to me, if I had a problem at my work right now, I would go to my principal and I would tell him, this is what I've seen, this isn't how things are supposed to go. Should I come to you? Should I go to somebody else? What do you, go to somebody with the better knowledge and report what was seen and do the right thing.
Did anybody else have any questions before I do the closing statement? Do you have a question about the part-time?
Don't see it.
Okay. So if this job were offered to you, would you accept?
Yes.
And when is the soonest you could start?
I would have to give a 2-week notice. I am currently employed with the school district and I would not leave my current nurse hanging.
And understanding this is a part-time position, you would be able to work that in.
Yes, my current job is part-time. Granted, it's Monday through Friday through the school year, but then I'm off all summer, so it's technically considered part-time. I'm not 8 hours a day as it is, so it's perfectly fine with me.
Anyone else have any questions? Well, thank you for your time. And how much time we have?
We got 60 minutes, 27 seconds left.
Just give us a few minutes,
Okay.
yeah, maybe a few minutes to wrap things up. Thank you.
Yep.
Terry, if you could sign good.
What, no.
I'm sorry, it's in front of Adam.
Sorry, guys. Some more. Blank ones. Doug's.
No, would be next. put that off, yeah, I think. But except this one. Yeah.
You guys ready? Yep. Have a seat if you'd like. Thanks for coming.
Expected it to be hot.
She was one over. So we're going to be going through a structured interview, so the questions we ask you are the same ones that we ask the other candidates. So as we ask these, we're not going to necessarily ask you to expound on anything. Whatever your answer is, that we're just going to take that as it is.
We're limiting each candidate to 15 minutes, so just be aware of time constraints.
All right, you ready? So 4's done, 5's out, 7's out. What experience do you have in preparing agendas, supporting documents, and minutes for meetings?
Most of that experience has come through various political activity that I've been involved in for many years. Going back all the way to the 1980s. As local party chairman, also treasurer, and some duties as secretary.
Describe your expertise with word processing, spreadsheets, presentations, emails, and other programs.
Okay. I'm well versed in Microsoft Office products, Word, Excel, to a lesser extent PowerPoint. Also publisher. One of my primary responsibilities in IT was installing and supporting Microsoft Office products. I'm also basically a lifelong user, not my life, but the life of computers, of WordPerfect and WordPerfect products. And like everyone, I have 16 email accounts. Well, not quite 16, but I've had a lot of email. And then as in my IT support role, I do a lot of installation of email systems. So, like Yahoo, Gmail, Outlook, all of them, plus proprietary ones for the companies that work there.
Are you familiar with CTOS, the City Township Accounting System?
I'm not.
What accounting experience do you have? And please list any accounting software you have used in the past and to what extent.
Primarily use QuickBooks. I do that as a poorly compensated accountant for my wife's midwifery practice. But yeah, we keep everything on QuickBooks. So that's what I'm most familiar with. Other than that, I haven't worked with a lot of accounting programs.
Describe how familiar you are with payroll processing, payroll taxes, and reporting these electronically.
Okay, for my wife's practice, I use EFTPS to report monthly and to pay withholding. Her practice is an LLC. We have it, and I do a monthly payroll for her. There are only 2 employees. She and I are the only employees, so I do the withholding for those. I file the state forms, the 941 and the federal, the 940s, the Minnesota withholding, also Minnesota Care as a provider. She's obligated to pay that. And also unemployment, federal and state. Does that cover everything? Was there something else in that package that I didn't? Okay.
This job might require to set up new filing system. This system will allow quick and easy access to invoices and important documents. Give a brief explanation of how you would go about doing this.
Okay, are you talking about paper documents or?
Let's do both.
Okay, primarily what I do is I scan everything and put it, and create a filing system with scanned documents. I don't like to keep paper, but I assume there is a need to keep paper in the system. In the electronic version, I like a hierarchical system, where start with a large topic and break it down. It would be similar in a paper document system, because that's almost implied. Like you have a file drawer and you have file folders, and then you have documents within the folders. So it's very much the same concept. I suppose if there were different types of documents, such as plat maps and things like that, they would require some sort of special handling. We need to have the physical hardware to store those types of documents. Mostly that in just in orderly fashion, in a hierarchy. It makes it logical to work through the process to find the specific document anybody's looking for.
This position requires attention to detail. Give an example of where, why this might be important.
If my wife were here, she'd probably say that I have a lot of Adrian Monk in me. But well, she would say that, as a matter of fact. But the maintaining the books for her practice requires a lot of attention to detail, because there are invoices, there are expenses that I have to maintain. I have to keep records of mileage, of other expenses that are paid directly out of the account, others that are incidental. I have to maintain records of assistants that work with her, because we pay them as contractors. So I have to file the tax forms related to that. So I have to keep all of that in an orderly way. Suppose I could mention the way my golf bag is set up, but that might not. So, yeah, it's almost a little bit obsessive, but yes, I like to keep things in order.
How much customer service experience have you had? Sometimes you might have someone who's not happy or maybe upset when it comes to Township Hall for copies of the drop-off papers for the planning committee. Will you still be able to help them? Give an example of helping someone who is angry. How would you diffuse the situation?
Well, as you can imagine, we had a few of those at the golf course when I was running the golf shop there. You get people who are not pleased with some aspect of the the course or the event, or maybe they figured that they should have won the league competition, but they didn't. So those situations where, I mean, people would come in and be running a little hot. But the best way is you begin by diverting it and, you know, taking away the immediate emotion of the situation, and just ask them to explain just exactly what is it that's causing the problem. If it's another person, then they require some mediation. If it's something about the way we're running our business, it would require an explanation of why we do it a particular way. But those are the types of things. And then also I work part-time at the PGA Tour Superstore. So we get people who come in who are upset about, maybe I know one in particular, a customer came in just recently and had seen that we had a product on the website, came in looking for the product on the website, and we didn't have it. So in that case, I can't make it materialize out of nothing. We don't have it. So I was able to take the customer to the store manager, and so, you know, I was explaining on the way that we can order it for you. We can get it, you know, in a matter of days, but we just don't have it in the store. It's possible that someone came in before you and bought it, but we don't have it. So I was able to take the customer to the manager, and between the two of us, we were able to diffuse the situation and satisfy the customer.
If you notice something going on at the township hall regarding township business that just doesn't seem right, what would you do and how would you handle it?
Well, I wouldn't try to handle it myself, that's for sure. I'd want to refer it, of course, to the board. I imagine the first person in contact would be Gene, and go from there. But I guess it would require some, you know, referral to someone other than just me to handle it.
I didn't have any questions. You guys have anything else? Follow? Okay. Closing statements. So if this job was offered to you, would you accept?
I would.
And when is the soonest you could start?
Almost immediately. Probably I would want one week.
You realize this is a part-time position,
I do.
and that would work into your schedule?
Yeah, see, I'm only working about 2 shifts a week at the store, and if I didn't work there anymore, it would kill them, and I miss it. But I get a lot of time without me.
If there's nothing else, thank you. Thank you for your time. We'll just give us a few minutes to wrap this up before we send the next person.
This one?
No, this is some other information.
Okay. I just found a picture.
Yeah.
And no, she is not here, right? She's not here.
I think that counts as the other one that you're.
Well, Connie is here.
Yeah, kind of. Instance.
Can you check me through that, I got his paperwork, that he came over.
There's a tube full of.
Just
Names.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Just make sure that you got the year check, so you able to get on it.
Evening.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Just before we get started, just be aware, we're having a 15-minute time limit per.
I've been warned.
Okay.
Nothing to tell you.
That was it.
So this is set up as a structured interview. We've asked everybody the same questions. We won't go into any other questions for you to elaborate, so whatever you say is what we're going to go with for your answer. With that, we'll get started. There's 8 questions. Some of them are multi-phased, so. What experience do you have in preparing agendas, supporting documents, and minutes for meetings?
Well, used to do it for 4-H. Recent, probably none, real recent. In our real estate office, we used to have office meetings when there were more agents, but we're pared down those, so we really don't do that anymore. But we did it back then. That would have been within the last probably 10 years.
Describe your expertise with word processing, spreadsheets, presentation, email, and other programs.
Well, I have never taken any specific classes about any of that. All of my learning is hands-on as it got into the office. I have worked with spreadsheets, just Excel. We're starting a new one at the office there, and I'm kind of Libre, L-I-B-R-E. I'm working on it. As far as a computer, I'm pretty computer literate. I'm somewhat internet literate, looking things up and posting them. And we had a website. I'm not in charge of it anymore, but I used to post to the website.
Are you familiar with CTAS? It's the City Township Accounting System.
No.
What accounting experience do you have? Please list any accounting software you may have used in the past and to what extent.
Oh, I thought of it when you first started asking that question. I can't think of QuickBooks. Used QuickBooks. That was 12 years ago when I worked at a different real estate office. They used QuickBooks. The real estate office I work at now does use QuickBooks, but I'm not the accountant. I work with there's another program that we use that kind of fits in with with that. It's more the accounting of each individual transaction and stuff like that. That's my job, and then the accountant comes in and can pull the numbers out of there and do what she needs to. It's called Lone Wolf. It's pretty exclusive to real estate.
Describe how familiar you are with payroll processing, payroll taxes, and reporting these electronically.
I haven't had to do that in my current job. I've been there for 15 years. In my previous job, that was what I did. I was everything in that job. I did the accounting. I paid my own wages, paid my own payroll tax, did all that. And then it was sent to an accountant after I got done with, well, each quarter, and they checked it out.
This job might require you to set up a new filing system. This system will allow quick and easy access to invoices and important documents. Give a brief explanation of how you would go about doing this.
I guess I need more information. Now, is this something where we're going to be looking at all the properties in the township, or is this in a, as far as paying bills and keeping everybody on track, or what? I guess I'm looking at, I like using the alphabet. Everybody knows it, and it's pretty simple, so. I guess I'd set it up alphabetically, whatever the system was that we're working with.
This position requires attention to detail. Give an example of where and why this might be important.
Well, in my job, I have to be count for every penny and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and looking at the purchase, doing everything that they said they'd do in the purchase agreement. So.
How much customer service experience have you had? Sometimes you might have someone who's not happy or maybe upset and comes into the township hall for copies or to drop off papers for the planning committee. Will you still be able to help them? Give an example of helping someone who's angry. How would you diffuse the situation?
Well, I've had pretty much every job I've ever had is customer service. I used to work at Holiday when it was, or Colburn's before it was Colburn's. At Holiday, I started out there. Every job I've had is customer service. In the real estate transactions, I've been in real estate for 27 years. A generic example is somebody's not happy with, negotiating the terms of an inspection. They have a house inspection done and the buyers want everything done. The seller doesn't want to do everything that was wrong with the house. They want to do the things that will affect their loan, and we need to come to a solution. Everybody needs to be as happy as they can be.
If you notice something going on at the township hall regarding township business that does not seem right, what would you do and how would you handle it?
Depends on what's in the protocol, what I've been told to do. Obviously, I wouldn't let it just happen. Tell somebody. And I guess if worst case scenario, if I don't know how to handle it, I'll call one of you. If you guys don't answer, I'm calling 911 next. So.
Did anyone have any question they wanted to ask? I'll finish with the closing statement? If this job was offered to you, would you accept?
I would have to know a little bit more about specifically what days, what hours. I just like to know what I'm going to be expected to do. But I would guess so, yes. I mean, I wouldn't have applied if I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. And that's another thing, I guess I want to make sure of what's expected of me, because I want to enjoy my job. I've always enjoyed my jobs, and when I didn't enjoy my job anymore, then I went and found a different one. And that's not why I'm coming here, is because I'm not enjoying my real estate job. Eldon is asking me to pare down my hours, so I'm looking to do something a little different.
So when is the soonest that you could start?
After the 28th, have the closing on the 28th, it's a Monday. Monday the 28th. And as far as my closings, I mean, I don't, my main job with Eldon is as the receptionist, the girl Friday, the take care of the building, take care of the office type of person. I don't sell a lot of real estate. I sell to my friends, I sell to their friends, my relatives, things like that. So I don't have a lot of transactions during the year. It's a part of my job, but it's not my main job. My main job is taking care of what Eldon needs me to take care of. And I can sure schedule my closings on different days, depending on what days I work here.
Okay. Thank you. I think we're finished with the interviews.
Okay.
Do we have any answers?
Was that?
Yeah.
Before I go any further, I think it'd be fair to give you a chance to ask us whatever you need to know before you make the final decision. Is there anything special?
No question. What would you say is the hardest part of this position? What would be something hard for me?
I think personally, coming in, I'm on year 2 of 3 of a term. You're constantly going to be having employers change, if you will. You know, every year, there's going to be 2 people removed and 2 new people theoretically placed in. So your employer is theoretically going to change 2 years. We are in the midst of a board change. The population demographics are starting to change in the city, and the board is also reflecting some of those changes, and there's been a lot of, throw it out there, hostility between old board members and new board members, you know, as to what's the direction the township's going. So there's been some residents who are all against one side, and there's residents all against the other side. Reality, we all gotta commingle, so you might see both extremes, you know. You just gotta basically play mediator, and that would be in a nutshell.
Is there one specific person that we report to? Do we report to everybody? how does that work? For different like questions or anything like that?
If it's something that can be brought up before the board, then it's the board.
Okay,
If it's something that needs immediate attention, you probably have to contact the chair.
okay.
There's a lot of resources out there too for Minnesota Association of Townships, Matt. So there's a website on there that has just a wealth of information on there, questions and those types of things.
And I would say whoever is hired would probably be asked to spend maybe several days in Becker with their lead trainer from MAT, Minnesota Association of Townships. And she'd be extremely comfortable talking to you on the phone at any time you'd have a question. And anybody from MAT has been fantastic.
Also develop that relationship with the city. I mean, we're in a unique situation where we literally bump up to the city, and there's gonna have to be working relationships between the two of us.
Any other questions?
Do you have term limits?
Pardon?
Do you have term limits?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
no.
you said it changes.
Well, we're elected to a
Potential
three-year term.
is there
Yeah.
to change. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a rotation, so there are two will be hired or elected next March.
Yep.
I believe 2 the following March and then 1 the following March. So theoretically, every 3 years you could have a completely new board. Any other questions? What comes the awkward part?
So how do we want, what do we do?
If somebody can simply make a motion in a second, you can have a vote, you can have a discussion, you can talk about your,
Sorry, that was your timer.
your supporting applicants. I mean, the board has complete discretion on how you proceed here.
Should we put a name on each, on one of these post-its and just kind of compile
Well,
those?
you can't do a secret ballot.
No, it'd be, okay.
It's kind of like before, it has to be out in the open.
Yep.
Yep, we can't.
So, I mean, if somebody feels strongly and that, who your vote is for, you can make a motion, and if there's a second, you can have a vote on that. And to the extent there's not a second, or the vote fails, just kind of keep going till the lucky winner is chosen.
Sounds like that's right.
And I have to say, it started, I'm amazed at the qualifications, and I think we have 4 fantastic people.
Everybody has a strength in their own category. You all truthfully did. I mean, everybody, I like things about you, Jana, I like things about you, Doug, I like things about you, Constance, I like things about you, Taylor. It's just, I got everybody's names right?
I was waiting to see it.
But everybody, I just want to say, everybody has strength in, I could see any one of you sitting in there and working with you. You all seem very trainable. That's, every one of you seems like someone I could just call up and say, hey, could you email me? Approachable. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, with that said, I'd like to make a motion to move forward with Doug Dahl.
I would second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Doug, you have been selected.
Congratulations.
Maybe.
Now, we should sample your DNA.
As I said, you will probably be asked to go to Becker's to
deal with Lucinda
I've been to better.
Messman. Her name is Lucinda Messman. She's the lead trainer for clerk treasurers. She's a full-time employee of Becker Township. And I think she'd be pretty easy to work with. You also will have full support from David Hahn, the executive director of MET, and Steve Fensky, the lead attorney. Those three much of the time, and I think you'll get a lot of help from them.
Mr. Chair, Supervisor Person brought up a question that was discussed at the beginning of this meeting last week, and that was the board had discussed making a conditional offer pending a background check. I don't know if that's still the will of the board or not.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, just for
That'll be
clarification.
passed on to the Sheriff's Department, I believe. I assume that's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think the sheriff.
I teach youth golf programs, so I've been through that a number of times.
I think that if the sheriff's office will do it, they'll have their own form.
Okay.
The BCA's got an actual form for the database.
Right.
Next item of business, we really don't have one, but I believe it's time we can accept the September 17th minutes as amended.
Being that's not on the agenda, you can't do that.
Yes, we can.
It's a continuation, not a special meeting.
Not on the agenda. Not,
On a regular meeting, which this is a continued regular meeting, the board is free to amend the agenda at any point.
So the township meeting minutes that I rewrote, I took Mr. Persing and Mr. Anderson's corrections to the meetings, I amended them, and I put in their changes that were made to the agenda, and spent another probably 3.5 hours watching the movie, making sure we didn't miss anything. So everything should be. Also with that, I did draft up the meeting minutes. And like I said, this is draft, it cannot be voted on until their next March meeting. But I redid the continuation meeting minutes from the August 20th meeting minutes. Like I said, these are a draft. They will be issued to the website with a draft stamped on them, so everybody is aware they are not official. But with Andrea's help, with taking the videos here, I'm literally taking hers, and on my meeting minutes, I'm putting timestamps next to them. So if you guys are curious on seeing something that was covered, you can at least look, okay, 4:20, 12:15, 9:16, just meeting stamps so you can fast forward to that part of the meeting. But I do have 2 of the past 4 that still need to be approved to be adopted yet. But yes, the continuation meeting is a draft, and the township meeting minutes, if we can pass them, that would be great.
And if you're looking for which copy, it's the one that says on the bottom of the last page, it says
editor's notes were corrections submitted from Mr. Anderson and Mr. Whitcomb.
any discussion?
Thomas, everyone was present at this meeting?
Yes, that was from a week ago.
Just, I had noticed when,
No, that was a month ago.
In the
September meeting, not the October meeting.
in the MAT recommendations, is that everything, that all board members present should be noted. So
Okay.
we may want to make sure that we,
Oh,
Usually that's listed right at the beginning.
Yep, and I did not have that. Good.
So we can add that, all board members present.
Is that the only changes that we see? So with that change made, can we approve the minutes?
Your motion.
I move to approve the minutes with an addition to adding all board members present.
I second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes with all board members present on September 17th. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion's carried. We have just for point of information, we have a sign request from the county that we have to note every sign in their retro reflectivity, I believe.
Yep.
And that's gonna be done by November 15th, or is October 31st. So this may cost the township some money for new signage. And the last item is, or the last item I have is Minnesota Association, or Mille Lacs County Association of Townships fall meeting, October 30th. I think you all got something in front of you.
Well, I think the RSVP date is passed. It was the 18th.
Apparently they called Jeanette today.
Oh, did they?
And
Okay.
she said she would try to get a head count tonight and inform them tomorrow. If anybody's going?
I could probably make it work.
It'll be a good meal.
About as close to home as we get.
Yep.
That's you.
And also we have to notify MAT that you guys, Dave, you are not getting this?
I got that.
You got that?
I got that.
Okay, we'll have to notify them when you said Is there any further business come before the meeting?
We had some discussion about having the books looked at by a different firm, and I did reach out under, Mr. Anderson mentioned they talked to KDV, and I did talk to them, and they do strongly recommend, I have an email here, I can share with you guys that, they do strongly recommend that when you do have a change of clerk, that you close the chapter on the old clerk, and then open the chapter on the next clerk, and that they would basically be looking from January 1st to the date that the clerk resigned. And they would be able to utilize that in our next audit. So it would basically be at a discount next year. They'd be able to use a bunch of the work that's already performed. So it would not be, all money out the window. It would be a good program. So if we'd like to move forward on that.
What was the motion made then?
Look back at the motion. I believe that motion was.
Was the
motion was forward
to move forward?
Yeah, it just was left that we didn't have a direction as to which outfit we were going to go with. And if KDV's been doing it for a long time, Mr. Anderson seemed pretty comfortable with them doing it, and I would like to see if we can't move forward with that. I think what this they basically said, as auditors for many cities and townships, and for the township for many years, it is common practice and recommended to have financial records reviewed every time a clerk change occurs. This process is generally accomplished through agreed upon procedures, which is less comprehensive than an audit but focuses on risk areas agreed to by the township board and our firm. These procedures close the chapter on the old clerk, providing assurances that the beginning records are accurate based on procedures performed. These procedures will assist us with our annual regulatory cash basis audit, and the combined procedures can be accomplished at a discounted rate compared to doing two separate projects. Based on my 33 years of auditing, the following procedures should be considered in the agreed upon procedures engagement at the date the clerk treasurer left employment with the township. And then it lists, 5 different fields that they would like to look at. And then he also followed it up with a document from the state auditor's office of some other areas to look at. And this was from Stephen Wishman from KDV.
Comments, direction for proceeding, or we were told to proceed onward. Might as well continue.
Make a motion to move forward with KDV to, let's see here, what do they call it? Agreed upon procedures. So basically what we would do is they would meet with 2 of us, probably, that are appointed, because you can't do an open meeting, to focus on whatever areas we want looked at. And I would suggest that they go with the area that they traditionally would see.
Motion's been made to proceed with KDV. Is there a second?
Second that.
Motion made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, no. Motion carried. Any further discussion?
Do we want to discuss the computer? Yeah, so the computer, we also discussed, potentially having it forensically looked at. We're still missing one password, but in order to do that, there is a firm, that Kearney, that they do it, and they actually mirror image the hard drive, basically, and then put it back into service. The limited amount that I've seen of our computer, it appears to be that it's a relatively old software in it, so I don't know, we may even consider moving forward with updating our computer system for now. But if we want to, know the history on what happened through our computer, and actually they also, they being Kearney, he is actually an attorney as well, and they also recommend that the hard drives get mirror imaged anytime there's a clerk change, just in case there's anything to happen. That is a little bit more expensive than I thought it would be. It's $750 per hard drive. He suspects that there could be 2 hard drives in there, and that's just to mirror image the hard drives. That's not to look at anything. But we don't have to look at anything historically. It's just more in case we'd ever have to go back on something, because the more this computer gets used, the more the data gets corrupted. So I guess I'll leave it to you guys as to what direction we want to go with that.
How old is that computer? Do you know?
It's Windows 8, so I don't know how long they sold Windows 8.
Till he's 5 years old. 10's been out for 5 years.
Yeah, I think I looked up, Windows 8 came out in August of 2012 to the public in October. But it seems to me
they all got upgraded to 10.
Yeah, and it closed down pretty quick too, because
Yeah.
I think they had a ton of issues with it, so. I wish I had an answer whether there's one hard drive in there or not, but he literally suggested that we just shut that computer down and not touch it until there's actually a mirrored image of
That
it.
would take over.
About 2 days.
Because then they would, either we would have to take it to them, or they would come and get it. And
Coming and getting it's part of their fee. So, yeah, that's part of the fee that we charge. So then it's trying to coordinate with somebody to come in and review
I don't know,
that.
personally, I think you need to, I gotta know what's been happening. We had a pretty quick changeover, and it wasn't nice. change over. I don't know, that's,
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around 0.4% of our annual budget. You know, it's pretty minuscule when you look at the big picture.
yeah, I'm just looking at protecting the township, protecting the board. Something happened in there and you don't know anything about it, you know. I mean, 2 years ago, we had a guy automatically resign, nobody gives any explanation. I just, if we got all this sitting at our disposal and we don't know what it is, am I wrong in saying that, Adam? You're an attorney,
I mean, you know, if you have concerns, my conservative advice is always going to be to take whatever safeguarding you feel is appropriate.
I believe with the change of the clerk and I think we have to take every step to make sure we know where we are.
Yeah. You know, and I don't know that we have to forensically go through it, you know, but mirroring it now and having that as a backup in case down the road something pops up, we got a clean point that we can go back to.
And also give us some direction on how long they expect it may be of service to us before we have to upgrade.
Correct.
I move that we go forward with the mirroring.
I'd second that.
Motion is made and seconded. Any comments, questions? I saw your hand.
Sorry.
Go up,
I was just going to suggest while you're doing that, if you want to maybe explore also document scanning services. There's a company in Minnesota, Metro Sales, that I did a temp gig with, just scanning documents, and they make it, I mean, an editable PDF if you want. They have cloud storage services that are backed up in case of these situations where a government entity might crash, and they're...
We are working with a computer, I mean, they've been billing us every month anyway.
Okay.
We are backing it up to the big computer in the sky. I don't know
Sure.
where that sky is, but.
Okay.
Yeah, and Thomas, I'm not sure that that's, because the information that was provided to me was not for certain that that has happened.
Okay.
So.
Motion is made and seconded to go forward with the mirroring hard drives. Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, sorry.
By Kearney Forensics, I would make the motion to actually have Kearney Forensics do the.
All set. I'll add that to the motion.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. Is there any further discussion? Anything else coming before the meeting? No.
Christopher?
Yes. I'm concerned, we sold our house east of Shooter's Bar, and we have a little dispute, a land dispute, kind of between us and Shooters, and we need the township to okay this land split.
And from the messages I received, it was, let me get it here. You've executed the sale of .12 acres. It wasn't processed correctly. Somewhere down the line, and it's holding up the sale of home closing.
That's correct, yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, this was put through the planning commission. Do you recall, Kathy, or no?
Oh, shoot, she's gone. Dave, do you remember Brad Christopher?
Yeah.
I think it,
You know, I didn't talk to him, but I know that Scott Richards did. And
Okay.
it sounds like it has to go in front of the planning commission. And so I think it's on the agenda for I believe it is going to be on the agenda.
When will that be then?
First Monday in
4th of November.
So that would be the 4th? 4th of November, and then the 19th is the town board. Anything else? If not, if you are going to go to this, will you let Jeanette know?
Yeah, I'll let Jeanette know.
She can pass on word to Barb Walke.
I might go too. And I have that slip at home too, so I can.
Yeah, just make sure that you contact her.
Oh, no, it's RSVP.
Yeah, that's already passed. But she said she got a call today.
Well, now it's by the 23rd, so on mine it said the 18th. That's what
Okay.
it's in.
Is there any further discussion? Anything else come before the meeting? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Motion's been made to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried. We are adjourned.